Test. Testes. Yeah, okay, can't take myself seriously. In a lot of my videos, you've seen me talk about the nursing, In a lot of my videos, you've heard me talk about the nursing culture. Today, I want to talk about it because I feel like it's something that needs to be talked about, whereas I've seen both the civilian side and also the military side. What's really good on my day ones? Welcome back to the channel. So as I've mentioned time and time again, and a lot of people have been asking me to talk about this topic, I want to talk about the nursing culture. So I can't really talk about pure Air Force, but I can talk about joint. Now this is very important because if you could enjoy joint taskings or joint where you're working heavily with civilians, Navy, Army, Marines, and possibly some of the medical corps, then you'd understand that it is very important to get along with everyone. I'm sure you've heard this terminology before, trauma bonding. This is a very common thing that they do in the military, and a lot of you have experienced it during COVID, especially if you were a nurse or any kind of medical personnel, because you had to rely on each other through traumatic experiences just to get through it. That's exactly what they do in the military. And I'm not saying it's a bad thing, and again, all my views are my own and not reflective of the DoD. Trauma bonding can be a great thing. And the reason is when you work with people and you're put in situations where you're forced to work with each other, especially in traumatic, crazy experiences, what it does is it creates a reliance, and the reliance on people. And I've said this time and time again, that people are your greatest assets. It's important to understand that because when you are working with a bunch of other service members, you have to get along with everyone. And our civilian counterparts, you know, they enjoy being around us and they wonder why, and it's just because everyone takes everything so lightheartedly and we don't take anything to offense, and that's just because we've been through the ringer. And that's what the training is for, because the training actually prepares you for a real-time situation when it does happen. I'm not saying I've been through it. However, for the most part, every time I ran into someone who was an acquaintance of one of my Air Force friends, we've always got along. They don't have to be in the medical field, they could be a pilot, they could be special ops, they could be something else, but we all generally get along. Am I saying you're gonna get along with everyone? Absolutely not. However, the Air Force does a really great job of actually making sure that there is a cohesiveness within our military. Now let's talk about the culture. The MTF I'm at right now, please don't comment it if you know where I'm at. The MTF that I'm at right now has a rich mixture of Army and civilian. I remember as a civilian nurse, not working with the DoD, just a regular civilian nurse, there were great nurses, but it's very rare to find units where they're so closely knitted. And the only time I've ever felt that was in Los Angeles. And that's just because they had a rich culture of taking care of their nurses. Here on the military side, it's the same thing. There has not been a time where I needed help and I've gotten like pushback from someone. And that was very common when I was a CVIC nurse as a civilian, and dealing with nurses who always gave you attitude, or even CNAs who gave you attitude just when you asked for help. That was something that I really had a hard time dealing with. Or in the military / Air Force side, I have a strong push for teamwork. It has been possibly the strongest teamwork I've ever worked with, and that's just because everyone is there to get the job done, get the mission done, and go home. You could ask any one of my friends who have civilian experience who crossed over into the nursing side that their experiences are a lot easier only because everyone does their job. No one complains. I mean, people complain, but like for the most part, when the job needs to be done, they don't complain. And when you ask for help, it's there. Which leads me to the communication part of the culture. Now my capstone from a master's specifically spoke about communication, and I did delve on culture. And culture is one of the biggest things that needs to be embedded into a unit. One thing that I took away from my research was that you should never go into a new unit and try to change the culture, because culture there has already been set. There's a lot of people that can be complacent. There's a lot of people who do their job, a lot of people who lead, there's a lot of people who don't do anything. Imagine a unit where everyone communicates and they tell their needs, and for the most part when they do have like a run-in with a doctor, they communicate their concerns. Overall, just relays information. That is the most important thing of culture, is when you are able to take your idea or even your concern or even all of your interventions and communicate it well and have positive feedback. I've experienced all sorts of different kinds of styles here with culture, but for the most part, military culture for me has been one of the greatest, only because you do meet really great people. And I saw this meme where it was like Asian guy, a guy who speaks Southern, a Hispanic guy, a black guy. So it's like that. If you want to think of it like that, the military is one of the most diverse places to be. And you do deal with a lot of diversity, which makes your job a lot easier. So I hope that clarifies everything. For the most part, I do love what I'm doing. The culture for me is just always something that I've been used to, especially since I was a Navy brat. And it's just something that I try to strive to help make better as well as a leader. So in the comment section below, let me know how you're doing. I'll do my best to get back to you, and I want to release this video prior to me leaving for TDY. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Y'all take care. Peace.